What's up, metal and heavy music fans? Today we have a review of the new Motionless in White track, Masterpiece.
And put the tears back in your eyes when every canvas.
Alright, so I've never been like a huge Motionless in White fan, but I consider myself always interested in trying out new stuff, and so is little Harley over here, so we thought we'd check out the new single after I've already heard Cyberhex. I'll say a little bit more on that, but getting into this one, it's a pretty straightforward track. Like, this is a straight up ballad, is really what it comes down to. Very verse, chorus, verse, not a lot of surprises. We open up with this very kind of overly dramatic clean singing, and I would even say it's kind of forced. Like, I'm a sucker for like really sappy ballads, okay? Like, even going back to the 2000s and certain songs they played on the radio that were certainly corny, but there was a certain genuineness to them that I kind of appreciated and made them a little bit more fun to like get really dramatic and sing along to them in your car while you're driving. And I just don't really get that from this song and a lot of songs in this style now. I have the same issues with like Ice Nine Kills and got crucified by the fan base for not loving every minute of that album, even though there were moments of it that I enjoyed. And so I've got similar problems in that also the lyrics are extremely trite, like just stuff you've heard a billion times before, again, especially in the 2000s.
I need to heal what I inflict.
Everything about tears, literally like forcing the tears back in your eyes and burning, and in the music video, everything starts on fire, and it's just like, it's a bit much, and I don't know. It's hard for me to say exactly what the difference is here, because I'll be fair, like there's plenty to be said about the music from my days, so to speak. Not that I'm that old, but old enough that like a whole kind of generation has gone by since that music came out. But I don't know. I don't get the same feeling from it. And I don't think it's because I'm older either. Like, there's still songs from, say, like Periphery, where they've got these big, like, dramatic, clean vocals, and I get caught up in them. I still get swept up in them, both older songs and newer songs. As far as the performance too, like, Chris Motionless, his voice is pretty solid. Like, he's a good singer, but another issue I have that I think takes away from my attachment to the song is that it's so digitized by the production that it's hard to tell what's him and what's studio magic. And again, that's not me saying that he can't do it. I'll bet he can belt this track out live. In fact, I'd probably prefer hearing it that way. But as far as like what they've recorded here, it's this production style I just don't care for.
Not quite my tempo.
And then the chorus is super butt rocky. Like, that's what this is. Like, this is a butt rock Motionless in White song is what you're getting.
So how do I apologize?
And it's kind of catchy, but just so corny. And again, with all the issues that I've just been talking about, it kind of falls apart a bit. The thing that kept popping into my head the most was Breaking Benjamin. This very much could be a Breaking Benjamin song. If you had told me that it was, and I didn't know otherwise, I would have believed you.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
And that's kind of the crux of the song, and then we do finally get like this heavy part with the breakdown, which is fine, but it just doesn't really feel like it belongs in this song, at least in any organic way. It feels very much like they were writing it, they were recording it, and then the song stops, and then they're kind of just like, oh, we should probably like throw in a heavy part here. And it just got like cut and pasted in. It doesn't really fit. And it's not like a particularly special breakdown either. Like, that might save it, but it's just your very typical run-of-the-mill kind of stuff that I'm sure at the shows the fans, especially the younger fans, are going to go apeshit over, but it's just not for me. So not terrible. Like, I've heard so much worse, and I'm sure there are going to be people, especially in my circle, who are calling this like one of the worst songs ever, and it definitely isn't. There's so many other picks I could pull from when it comes to that category, and so, do you want to say something? And as much as the commenters are going to claim that I'm just a hater, I don't really go into any song hoping that it's bad. Like, of course, there are songs that I kind of expect them to maybe be bad, but I try to leave that bias out of as much as possible. And most of the time, I'm genuinely surprised. Like, a lot of times, I kind of like that approach because then I'm rarely let down. I sort of expect most things to not be very good. And then either they're not very good and I'm just kind of okay with that, or they're much better than I expected them to be. I mean, just in general, I really enjoy exploring new stuff and have it defy my expectations. It's really a big point of this entire channel in general. Hell, I was genuinely pleased with how many moments I did enjoy ranking Motionless In White's entire discography listening to it for the first time. Even if there was less and less I personally enjoyed the further I got in, there was still plenty that I respected about it. Now, as somebody who digs metalcore a lot, I really liked that track Time Bomb since it calls back a bit more to their earlier material, and the industrial vibes of Cyberhex are kind of fun too. Reminds me of days listening to like Orgy's Candy Ass, because I was a big like industrial metal, new metal fan back then. Still am. But again, the clean vocals on that song as well also put me off. So yeah, this track, it's fine. It's your typical radio rock single that I could even see myself sometimes probably singing along to if it popped on like the radio. Harley doesn't like it. She's trying to escape. But in the broader context of this music, it just feels like such a tired retread of things we've heard so many times already. Give me something a little bit more unique and interesting. I feel like this is a band that's capable of it, and I'm always dying for good new stuff, especially with an industrial slant to it. But if you ask me, Three Teeth are at the top of that sound right now. As far as my 3 scales go, I'd give this like an 8 for enjoyability. Again, it's not like at the lower end, it's slightly above average, like it gets stuck in my head, you can sing along to it. So not even like C territory, it's a little bit higher than that. In terms of instrumentation, musicianship, give it like an 8. There's not a ton special going on here. That atmosphere is kind of impressive. Like there's a lot in the chorus that just like surrounds you, even if it doesn't fully come together into anything particular special. But again, I've heard so much worse. And then in terms of innovation, should be no surprise here. It's just a 7, like very average, middle of the road kind of track. So a 7.7 overall, and I'm going to say that this track is not a masterpiece, it's about a C+ from me. Y'all, you can check out my tier list for Motionless In White right here, and to hear some stuff that I've really been enjoying this year, check out this playlist. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think of the song? Disagreements welcome, as long as it's not just, you're stupid and your mask is dumb. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.